Hi guys.
Hey Chris, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Doing well. I'm Kieran from the Wefunder team. We have
Hi.
Jason and Claudius on the investor panel today. They're just going to be asking you questions about your business. But to get us started, can you give us a quick 30-second overview of Scrap Connection, and then they'll jump into their questions afterwards.
Sure. Scrap Connection runs a product called Tradefox. Tradefox is a platform that connects buyers and sellers around the world that deal in recyclables. So we do that in two ways. We do that by providing trade reputation reports on company, which is essentially business intelligence on companies, and we rank companies based on their trustworthiness, reliability. And we're also going into the conference business. So we're launching in September the first two-day virtual conference. It's integrated right into our platform. The unique thing about this is we allow buyers and sellers to find each other in our platform and arrange one-on-one Zoom call style meetings right in our product.
Great. Well, thanks for the quick overview, Chris. I will confess not having a deep understanding of the recyclables industry and the trading of them in particular. So I think what would be helpful probably to Claudius and me both is, could you give a little bit of a primer of like the industry, and then in particular in this moment, the effects of trade issues, of coronavirus shutdowns, and like any kind of like forward-looking macro economy effects that you've seen?
Absolutely. So essentially, we exist in an industry that a lot of people have never heard of. It's $250 billion big. It's the global trade of recyclables. Even I didn't know about it until I stumbled in it, and I've been in the industry for 23 years. I didn't know there were a lot of imports and exports. But there are a lot of problems in the global trade of recyclables. There are a lot of issues with fraud, with contract cancellations, just general like material manipulation and other unscrupulous business practices. And these problems are uninsurable risks. They create a lot of friction in the market that's actually good for the environment. And so what we aim to do is to cut out all the risk and create a product that will allow these buyers and sellers around the world to find each other more easily. And also related to the the COVID-19 crisis, the conference product that we're launching actually came from the fact that conferences are no longer possible basically at this point in time. And it's the main way that buyers and sellers meet each other. So again, we're looking at trying to connect buyers and sellers. So hosting a virtual conference allows us to accomplish that as well.
And that's where the proceeds for this raise is going to go?
Exactly. Yeah. So we started out with just expanding our product. Essentially, the funds that we were looking for were to expand our sales and marketing and also tech development. This new product idea came about only recently, but we're able to integrate it and build it in about 6 weeks actually by using a licensed technology from another company. So we will definitely take funds from this raise to continue the mission, which is to find more people that will obviously subscribe to our service. And we hope that the conferences are a way for us to get new subscribers en masse, because we expect 100 to 200 attendees at the first conference. Could be a few hundred in the second and third.
Amazing. Thanks for clarifying, Jason, by the way. Chris, I definitely love the idea of creating, getting your customers to come to you, creating that platform where your customers are coming to you, especially if there isn't something currently occurring. If they're usually used to meeting in person, creating that virtual space is a A+ idea. As Jason mentioned, both he and I are really unfamiliar with this space. So I'd love for you to just tell us about your background and why your team is the best to attack this problem and the space.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll put it this way. I mean, it's essentially been my career for my entire life. I've always been in the recycling business. I mean, I took a small hiatus for 2 years and I started a tech company, which I sold, but I've always been into the recycling industry for 23 years now. So, but the 6 years prior to launching this company, I was involved in the imports and exports of recyclables for the first time. And, we made money, but we also lost a lot of money. We lost, small amounts, tens of thousands sometimes. And then we even had a fraud where we lost 150,000 in one go. And the thing that I noticed in my 6 years as a trader that everybody I knew that had been in the business for more than 5 to 10 years had had at least one massive fraud, and definitely were suffering losses all the time on a regular basis from contract cancellations and other issues. So we saw the problems, basically experienced the problems, lost a bunch of money from that, and then decided that we would go about starting this company to do it. So I think that to answer the second part of your question, the thing that makes us unique, I believe, is probably the cross experience between a previous experience with a platform-based business model and then the real world side of the global trade of recyclables. We kind of have both those knowledge sets under the same roof, basically.
So that's really interesting, Chris. I think, loss aversion is a powerful psychological motivator for people to try and adapt a new product. I think in looking through your profile, you mentioned that there's some resistance either for people that are used to dealing in a handshake and smile industry versus having some sort of crowdsourced reputational system. Can you talk a little bit about those challenges, and if there are people who are enthusiastic about it, who are those people? What do they look like, and how much of the market do they make up?
Okay, so yes, there are definitely, we've had a lot of resistance because our industry is a very conservative, traditional business. And because there's so much money on the line, and because people commonly wire, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars to each other around the world, the contracts that they write up, or they find them as more or less meaningless across international boundaries. So there are a lot of problems, with that. So they very much want to have that gut check. They want to meet somebody in person, and everybody feels like they're a good judge of character, and especially in our business, because they've been wronged 2 or 3 times, and they feel like they're smart enough that they can always pick the best buyers and sellers. But the reality is, by our calculations, a minimum of $200 million a year is lost to these problems that we're trying to solve. So the system that they have in place isn't working. It doesn't, and I guess the challenge for us is to convince them that we have a new way. So our big challenge is we're entering with a product to the market that the market's never seen. So that's always a challenge. Our biggest hurdles were the slow, kind of what to us felt like slower growth of new customers. And we realized as we got into this and developed the sales and marketing system, there's a lot of onboarding time needed to get people to make sure that they get hooked to the product and are using it. Now, fast forward, till a few months later, we started our sales and marketing in January, but in March came the Corona crisis. So what's really unique about that is suddenly the people can't do the thing that they've always been wanting to do, and they're looking for some leadership in the industry on how they can trade safely. How can you do business with somebody that you meet online, basically, without losing money? And so now we are very relevant suddenly to the industry.
Yeah,
Got it.
Makes a lot of sense.
I was curious, as I was kind of thinking more around it. Again, you mentioned you guys are more or less trade insights into other players in the space. What exactly is your business model? Are you guys taking the kind of credit score model where people can access their score, the traded score or something like that, and then have other people get access to it to know like how they can improve, etc.? What exactly is the business model?
Yeah, so we are a SaaS product. Our goal in our primary product is to drive monthly recurring revenue. So we're looking at subscriptions that range. It's well underpriced for the value in the market right now. $55 to $195 a month is the price range for our product right now. So that's our main goal. This new conferences product actually stands alone on its own. It is a revenue producer as well. So in fact, we've done a lot of market research with our customers, and we've figured out what we can charge and how much it's going to cost us, and it turns out to be a very lucrative opportunity as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to lay something out, and you tell me if it correctly characterizes the strategy that you guys need to go after. I mean, clearly this is a data play, right? The person with the most data is going to be able to, law of large numbers, aggregate a better scoring and better reporting system. And so therefore your goal needs to be to have more transactional information flowing through the system, and at a faster clip, than anybody else that might try to duplicate this or create a competitive product. And so, and then if that's the case, how mechanically, if you're not the transaction facilitator, the marketplace itself, does that actually work? Like, I'm trading something, Claudius is the, you know, the buyer. How are we connecting in this particular instance? And then how is that information reaching Tradefox?
Okay. So our former product, which was labeled by the company named Scrap Connection, was a marketplace product, and we still have all that functionality. It's just hidden in our site right now, and we have full intentions on relaunching that marketplace. But the reason why we pivoted away from that is because we realized that there was a larger opportunity to reach more people if you allow them to trade in their own normal trade method. So people trade via email, or they meet people at conferences, they have phone calls, they meet people online. All of those are possible customers for us. Whereas before, when we were trying to build a marketplace, we were forcing people not only to adopt our idea about trustworthy companies, but then also to change the way they do business and to go online and trade with people that they haven't met. And that was we had a lot of resistance in that. So we thought we would take the higher ground and go with the trust reputation report product. So yes, it's a data play. Look, the way I see this scaling out. So first of all, it's
I'm sorry. Let me just clarify.
Oh, yeah.
So are they self-reporting transactions? Is that
Yes.
how it happens? And is that
okay.
like?
So
like I'm talking about the actual, like where the data comes in and how it grows.
Okay. So we get data from 3 different main sources. The first one are credit reporting agencies. So we get information about the financial standing of companies. We also get information from shipping companies and customs agencies. This is where the transactional data comes from. So there's a lot of that. We have almost 1.5 million transactions on our platform. But then also we have a 3,800 strong member network. So we have free users on our platform right now that we poll all the time saying, what do you think about these 20 companies? Can you give us some feedback on it? Or we say, we see you traded with company A, can you give some feedback on it? So this is really the most important part of the whole 3. It's like when we get to a point where we get the adaptation of a lot of people giving more and more feedback, this real world information about the reputations of companies based on real market participants is the real value in what we're providing.
For sure. Similar to like verified buyer on an e-commerce site, and they offer a review of the products, 6 months into using it, that kind of thing.
Correct. And what we want to do on top of that is we're already talking with one of the largest commercial credit insurance agencies in the world, and we want to basically provide them the data that they need to insure these risks that are in trade, which are uninsurable currently. And they're uninsurable because they're not based on finance, they're based on trading practices and behaviors. So that then gets us back, you were talking about the data. So essentially when we're in that position where people are using our platform, our marketplace, because we have the insurance product, we also get access to data about pricing, volumes that are moving, locations. We get a lot of market intelligence that can be used in the future for other products.
Got it. That's definitely really interesting. As you guys are kind of discussing that, it's making me think and question on, 1, who are your competitors currently? And then 2, what do you see as the barriers to entry into this space?
Our competitors. So I guess you would say, there are a number of, in the last, we've been doing this for 8 years now. So I've seen a lot of businesses come and go. They've all mostly tried to go about this as a marketplace. And we also ourselves failed at that marketplace model. But that is ultimately going to be in the future, a competitor of ours. I guess then the next type of industry or group of companies to look at would be companies that provide import and export data, so shipping data on companies. And statistics about trading habits and trading partners. We can replicate all of that. So we have that same data that they get. Of course, we want to make sure we have the same sources, but we get the same data. So yeah, that's basically that side of the business.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump in just because we're out of time. But thank you so much, Chris, for joining us and telling us more about Scrap Connection. I think investors will really appreciate seeing this video.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Chris. Nice meeting you.